Have you ever looked at your schedule and thought to yourself, well, I technically have the time to cook, but do I actually have the energy to do it? I am so exhausted. Trust me, you're not alone. I used to be there every single night, and I've recently learned that it's not a discipline problem. It's actually an energy problem. My name's Tiffany. I help busy millennials get dinner done fast with quick, easy meals and wine pairings so they have more time to enjoy life as they choose. And in the plus side, also more energy. Now, if meal planning has ever felt like one of the worst things you have to do, this video is for you. But before we dive in, I want to remind you to check out the link in the description below. Follow me on social media for daily tips, tricks, recipes, and inspiration. And while you're there, be sure to download your copy of my free 5-minute meals so that way you can start getting dinner done fast right away today. Now in this video, we are going to uncover a new meal planning strategy that is going to help you not only save time, but maximize the energy that you have on those days that you feel too exhausted to do anything after you get home from work. But first, I want to hear from you. When it comes to cooking at home, what is most frustrating for you these days? Let us know in the comments below. I look forward to reading these and learning how we can work together to make cooking more enjoyable and less time-consuming for you. So, let's get started. Now, first, let's talk about why most meal plan strategies fail. And that's because they're mostly built around time. Now, yes, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but that doesn't mean that you can whip up a 30-minute meal in 30 minutes just because you have the time. You might not have the energy, you might not have the bandwidth, or maybe you have got little kids or a dog running around distracting you and getting in the way of that window of time. So you might think to yourself, oh, on Tuesday, I get off work at 5, I can cook dinner 5:15 when I get home, great. Oh, on Thursday, I get off early so I can make something more involved. Oh, I know we have this family activity going on Wednesday, so we'll have to hit the drive-thru. Well, you don't have to do that. With the right strategy, you can still take that into consideration with your schedule, but also focus more on the energy that you're going to have after that long work day, not necessarily the amount of time that you may have when you get home from work. So because these traditional plans are built on time, you still might have the time, but you're not going to have the energy or the bandwidth. By the time 5:30, 6 o'clock rolls around and you need to make dinner, you have already made over 100 decisions throughout the day, consciously and subconsciously. You have managed a busy day at work. Maybe you've managed your kids, dropping them off from school, picking them up from school, a spouse, family activities. Maybe you have a side hustle of your own. There are so many things that you have been balancing all day long. And because of that, you've used up most of your mental bandwidth. So the last thing you want to do is think about, what am I going to cook for dinner? As everyone in the family starts to ask you, what are we eating tonight? I'm hungry. It's not a good feeling, and there is a solution so you can stop feeling so exhausted. And that is where that shift comes into play. So stop asking, how much time will I have? And instead ask yourself, how much energy will I have? That is where it all changes. So first, we're going to want to identify your energy zones. Now, typically, you are going to have 3 different energy zones. You're going to have your high energy days, which are the days that you don't feel rushed, you're more relaxed, you're willing to try that new recipe that you found on Pinterest or from the cooking magazine. You're also going to find yourself with some medium energy days. These are probably going to be the most common, and these are days that you're going to want something familiar, like the ever popular Taco Tuesday, Or you want something that's simple, uses 5 ingredients or less, only has a few steps. Maybe it's all together in one pot or on one pan. And then you have your low energy days. These are the draining days where all you can think about is getting home. Instead of reaching for that bowl of cereal or a bowl of ice cream, which were my go-tos, try to have some leftovers or freezer meals that you can just quick pull out and cook in the microwave or throw in your crock pot before you go to work. Those are perfect for those low energy days. But here's the key to remember. Low energy days are not failures. They are predictable. They happen. It is called real life. And don't beat yourself up just because you have those low energy days more often than you might want to have. So once you've determined what those energy days are for you, you want to match your meals to the energy. So on those high energy days, again, these are the days that you want to try that new recipe. So make a note of what recipe you want to try that you found on Pinterest or in that cooking magazine. And that's what you are going to do on those high energy days. These are also great days to batch cook and prep meals in advance. Think batch cooking 3 pounds of ground beef, so then you can repurpose them later in the week for tacos, nachos, burrito bowls, or batch cook a bunch of chicken as a nice blank canvas, think salt, pepper, garlic, and then you can repurpose that later in the week for other dishes, especially on those low energy days. Now on your medium energy days, these are perfect for sheet pan meals, which are one of my personal favorites, 30-minute one-pot meals, and those other recipes that have 5 ingredients or less. They're simple, they're easy to follow, they're healthy, but yet they don't require a lot of energy or thought process on your end. And those low energy days, these are the days that you repurpose those leftovers. Now when it comes to repurposing, batch cooking on those high energy days is going to be beneficial, but it doesn't have to be just like that. Maybe you have some extra veggies in the fridge that you could quick chop up, cook with some rice, and you've got a nice veggie rice dish. Or you've got a jar of pasta sauce, boil some water, and make yourself a nice bowl of spaghetti. These are those simple meals that taste good, bring the warm comfort, but don't require a lot of energy at all. And lastly, you want to build in that flexibility. So account for those energy changes, account for those schedule changes. Life happens. Don't beat yourself up. Instead, just refocus. What you thought was going to be a high energy day maybe became a low energy day. Grab the frozen pizza or repurpose those leftovers. It's not a failure. It's going to be okay. Now, I know typically for my weeks, I like to have 1 high energy meal, 2 or 3 medium energy, and 1 low energy planned out. This is what works best for me. I recognize what days I'm going to have the most energy, what days I'm going to have the most flexibility in that planning and prep stage, and what days we have things going on that I need those medium energy meals that come together quick, or those lower energy meals when I know we're going to be hitting the road shortly after getting home from work. So take that into account as you are planning those energy meals around your schedule. Now you might be wondering, this makes sense, but how does it work? Why does it work when so many of the meal planning strategies out there are all focused on time? When you plan around energy, dinner stops feeling like a chore and you start to have fun again. You may even find yourself turning on some music and actually enjoying the cooking process again because it no longer feels like a chore. You're matching your energy on those days that you're cooking those meals. You also find yourself wasting less food because you're planning to repurpose those leftovers. You're planning ahead to make use of all of the food that is in your fridge. Therefore, you're wasting less, which stretches your grocery budget because you're spending less money. And lastly, you stop blaming yourself when plans change because life happens. And when you plan around your energy, you're able to better prepare your mindset for those last minute schedule changes because you already planned for it subconsciously without realizing it. Now, if dinner has been the hardest part of your day, I want you to hear this. You don't need more recipes. You just need a better strategy. And this meal planning strategy around energy is exactly what you need to feel re-energized and have fun in the kitchen again. Now, if you're ready to keep this momentum up, I have got a simple strategy to help you tantalize your taste buds with 3 simple tips to match the perfect wine to go along with those recipes to continue having even more fun while you're cooking. Number 1 is to remember as a general rule that red goes with red and white goes with white. So typically your red wines are going to go best with your red meats, red pasta sauces, and white wines are going to go best with your white meats and your white cheesy garlic type sauces. But that's not always the case. And that leads us to tip number 2, which is to consider those sides and seasonings. So when it comes to wine pairing, you want to look at the entire meal as a whole, not just the main course or not just the side dish, the appetizer, the dessert. Look at everything as a whole. What common flavors are there? What common foods do you have? Primarily with the flavors and the seasonings. And that is what you want to match the wine with. So think you are cooking a steak with some garlic mashed potatoes. Well, steak as a red meat, typically you would want to go with a red wine. But because of those garlic mashed potatoes, maybe you're going to season some fresh garlic with that steak as well. A white wine is going to go better with those garlic flavors. On the other hand, if you pair that steak with homemade bruschetta, a red wine or a rosé is going to be the better option because of that homemade bruschetta. And number 3, remember that sweet likes heat. So typically, if you are going after some spicy cuisine, think Mexican, curry food, Indian dishes, you want a sweet wine that is going to counteract some of the spiciness, actually bring out notes in the food that you may have never tried before, and make it even more bearable for those of you like me that have a Minnesota heat tolerance. If you're wanting to accent the spiciness instead, grab a dry wine and it will do just that. But remember, you have been warned that it's going to be even spicier than you may have imagined. Now, if you're ready to stress less even more, be sure to click the link in the description below. Download your copy of my 5-minute meals list so you can get dinner done fast right away today. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping videos like this all the time, and I would hate for you to miss out on the next tip or trick shared right here inside my tasting room.